Here's the cold, hard truth of what actually happens when you finally launch the app that you've been working on for months. And let me tell you now, it's not as pretty as it seems. Be ready for me to tell you the cold truth of all the different things that are gonna happen to you, your app, your company, your vision, your goals, the second that you hit publish and launch that app to the store. We recently helped a few of our builders inside of Dreams into Apps launch their apps into the world. They've been working really hard for the past 3 to 4 months to finally launch that idea that they've had in their head that keeps them up at night every single night. I'll also preface this by saying I'm guilty of this too, because everybody dreams of that day that they launch their app. The second they hit publish, they're gonna finally have users coming into their app. They know exactly where they're gonna go market it and get their first customers. But really, when you hit publish and you finally take a step back and sit in your chair, you take a big deep breath, and the next thing that you hear is crickets. The cold hard truth is that by launching your app, you've just done 1% of the work. The 99% of the game is now marketing the product that you worked so hard to build. People are not gonna find your app on their own. You need to go meet them where they are and shout from the rooftops that your app exists and that you need them to come in. But there's a strategy to this too. You don't want to go spray and pray and bring everybody and their mothers into your app. And this is exactly what we have to coach our builders on. You want to find a good group of people to come be your first users of your app and continue to give feedback. Launching is not a one-time thing. You are going to launch, iterate, launch, iterate, launch, iterate, and rinse and repeat that. And this is when you will start to see the flywheel turn and your app to become a self-sustaining business. But until then, it is still your job as an entrepreneur to listen to your customers and launch in small increments. For example, when you first hit that publish button, your next step should be to go find a group of people who are highly interested in your app. And if you followed the Dreams into Apps methodology, you would have created a community on Slack, on Discord, an email newsletter, a WhatsApp group, a Facebook group, and you should already have had a good group of people who are waiting for your app to launch to begin with. But if you didn't, you're gonna have a much tougher time. So say you have that community. You hit publish, you go to that community and you finally shout to them, hey, we just launched the first version of XYZ app. It's time for you to try it out. They're going to download your app. They're going to see it on the App Store, and things might break because there's a difference between your development environment and your production environment, and you may have not caught the two different things because you were so busy developing. There's going to be bugs that come up. You are going to have to keep track of the bugs that are popping up from specific users. Some bugs may not be critical. They might not actually hurt the flow of the app, and they could be bugs that you can deprioritize. But there are some bugs that are absolutely critical and that you need to fix very quickly. You might be thinking, oh my goodness, I can't sleep now. I have all these users who are trying to use my app and there's a bug in it. Take a step back, take a breath, and realize that this app is going to be here for a long time. Tomorrow when you wake up, those users will still trust you. They will come back to your app and they'll try again. So don't push yourself too hard. A lot of our builders I see are frantic about their app being in the world and there being a couple bugs in it. Even the biggest apps on the planet still have bugs in their app, and their engineering departments just deprioritize them because they're not actually deal breakers for the users who are trying to extract value from them. However, some of them will be deal breakers, and you'll have to use a Kanban board type of strategy to keep track of the bugs that you need to fix as they're coming up, okay? So step 1, launch to your community. Then you will take that initial group of people, iterate on their feedback, fix those bugs, ask them to try again, because those people are your best users. Those are the ones who have seen how hard you worked, and they're not gonna leave you just because you launched an app for the first time in your life and you just so happen to include a couple bugs, okay? So those are your best people. So if you're building an app, make sure that during the development process, you're also fostering a community of people and showing them how hard you're working on your app so that they trust you and they don't just leave you if you launch a faulty app. Number 2, iterate and launch again. So now that you've taken your community's feedback and hopefully made some changes into your app, you can now try to launch to a bigger audience. This is where newsletters and cold email and direct outreach campaigns come in. So if you're confident that your app is ready for traffic, you can start reaching out to influencers who can promote your app and start getting niche groups of traffic in. You do not want to spray and pray your marketing efforts. It's super important that you are intentional about each channel that you are acquiring users from, because each one of those channels is an experiment. Do not, at the same time, hire an influencer, run a cold email campaign, run Instagram shoutouts, do direct marketing. You don't want to do all those things at once. You want to do them one at a time and see where your best users are coming from. And by best users, I mean the ones who are converting into your paywall and actually paying you for your app and coming back to your app. If your app is about beauty and wellness, you don't want to be marketing to people who are sports fans, right? Those people are not going to retain on your app. So if you do a mass cold email campaign and you include a lot of these different types of people, that's going to skew your data and you're not going to know which one's giving you the best users. I, as an investor and I, as an acquirer, don't want to see your app have a ton of users and a very small activation or very small engagement rate. I would rather you have a very lean group of users who have a high engagement rate, because that means you've done a great job carefully defining your audience and you have captured a niche group of people that the big players weren't able to capture. So keep that in mind. As you launch your app into these different segments, you need to actually measure the performance. This is where conversion tracking can come in. We teach you inside of Dreams into Apps how to implement a tool called Mixpanel. This is a tool that I use throughout my whole career, that I live and breathe by for all my apps, and even the custom learning platform we have at Ambitious Labs. Mixpanel allows you to track your conversion rate in a flow, where I can see, hey, 100 people started downloading my app, 50 people got to step 1, 40 people got to step 2, 30 got to step 3, and at the end, the paywall, I was able to present 30 offers to people, thinking like Alex Hermosi, where I'm now able to present 30 offers through my paywall, and 10% of those people actually took the offer that I presented to them, right? So you have to actually start tracking your conversion rate after you launch your app so that you can see where your best users are coming from. This will take some experimentation. You may have to invest a few $1,000s or a few $100s in actually understanding these concepts, but this is where a lot of entrepreneurs start to fizzle out. If you take this seriously and you play the long game, you will eventually iterate on your product enough times to crack that conversion rate to the point where for every $1 you put into a specific marketing channel, you can output $3 at the end of it. And that's all an app is it's just a funnel that produces value for the customer in the forefront of the funnel. And at the end of it, you have a paywall, and your paywall presents the offer, the user converts into the offer, and the core value that you've designed your app to deliver is sticky enough and offers retention-friendly features like daily trackers, weekly trackers, streaks, leaderboards. These are features that apps that have high retention rates have built in with them, and it completely just compounds the whole equation I've just told you about. If you have a good onboarding flow and you've identified a good marketing channel that funnels high intent users in, those users find value in your onboarding, they convert, and then they keep using your app because you've designed a very sticky core user experience. Now you have the recipe for an app that can scale to the moon, okay? This comes with time. It can take a couple months. It can take a year after your launch. But your launch is not a one-time thing. You are going to be launching, iterating, and launching again. And lastly, number 3, after you launch, this one's cliche, but I need to say it. It's for you as the founder to stay healthy, be patient, be consistent, and know that this is a long game. Your users will come back even if you launch something that may not work perfectly the first time. I have one particular user in Virally app who keeps coming back and hitting the support line after she paid $60 a year. There was a bug in the Virally app for I think 2 or 3 weeks that only affected a very small group of people, and I kept deprioritizing it. She paid $60. She could have easily refunded it, but she kept hitting my support line and said, hey, I really want to use this app. Can you please fix this one content type? She bugged me for 2-3 weeks. I didn't have the time to actually fix it, and since I'm the only one who knows how to work on Virally, I was the only one who could fix it. But she came back, she stayed persistent. I gave her the feature that she wanted, and now she's very happy, and that feature is also there for other people to take advantage of. So that's just one story. This happened to me at PrizePicks. This happened to us at SeasonShare. SeasonShare was a B2B SaaS company. Our first launch ever actually had over 5,000 people outside of the stadium because we built ticketing software. The software actually didn't work the first time. Those 5,000 people actually weren't able to redeem their tickets, and I was scrambling to try to get those people into the stadium. But that client was mad at the time, but they understood that we were hard at work. We had developed this software completely custom for them. They told us, hey, take 2 more weeks and come back with a solution that works, and we'll try this again. That client was the one who gave us our big break, and we went off to scale from $0 to $10 million in gross merchandise volume. So I hope this video was helpful, and now you know what to expect after you launch your app. If you're interested in launching your app using the Dreams into Apps program, click the link in the description to learn more about our programs and what we do at Ambitious Labs. My name is Alim. I have over 10 years of startup experience. I look forward to welcoming you inside the Dreams into Apps community. Take care.